Recently, a man asked me if I thought it was important for Christians to be part of a local church. As the pastor of a local church, I found his question refreshingly honest. Before I responded, I asked the man to give me some context for his question. He said that he had not been part of a local church or attended a worship service for quite some time, and he had become quite satisfied with the church alternative that he had created for himself. Rather than wasting his time with what he called institutionalized religion, he had crafted a Christian experience that was custom-made specifically for him. He listened only to music that he liked, downloaded sermons from the internet by his favorite preachers, read Christian books that interested him, and was part of an informal community of like-minded believers. They were not part of a local church, but got together twice a month to talk about spiritual things. He listed several reasons why he preferred this alternative way of doing church. He had his Sundays completely free, he never had to sit through boring services, and his charitable giving went only to causes that he believed in. Best of all, he didn't have to deal with bothersome people, unwanted conversations, or church drama. This man represents what many recognize as a trend in Western society, especially among younger generations. Researcher George Barna, who refers to this group of churchless believers as revolutionaries, describes their mindset as follows. A common misconception about revolutionaries is that they are disengaging from God when they leave a local church. We found that while some people leave the local church and fall away from God altogether, there is a much larger segment of Americans who are currently leaving churches precisely because they want more of God in their life, but cannot get what they need from a local church. They have decided to get serious about their faith by piecing together a more robust faith experience. I appreciate Barna's carefulness to emphasize that many who are leaving the local church are doing so out of frustration rather than rebellion. The fact that these believers are leaving indicates that, at least for a season, they have made an effort to be part of a local church community. They have left not to get away from God, but in search of a richer, more authentic experience of God that for some reason they have been unable to find within the institutional church. Over the years, I have met many others like this. Their feedback about the local church is strikingly consistent, and their disenchantment is often legitimate. Instead of going to church, they are eager to be the church. Instead of being a face in the crowd, they are eager to be a known and needed member of a community. Instead of being passive observers of an event, they are eager to be active contributors to a shared mission. Instead of listening to a preacher pontificate and tell stories from behind a podium, they are eager to be welcomed into a story that is bigger than the preacher. Instead of sitting in a room full of people who accept Jesus, but who also seem bored with him, they are eager to find others like them who truly love Jesus and who come alive at the mention of his name. Instead of busying themselves with church programs, they are eager to be part of a movement that resembles the book of Acts, where believers kept peripheral things on the periphery and devoted themselves to the main things, such as worshiping God, studying the scriptures, living in fellowship, breaking bread together, praying together, opening their homes, giving generously to those who had need, and living in such a way that the watching world would take notice and the Lord added daily to their number. So then, instead of rushing straight into a critique of Christians who have decided that they are done with church, some self-reflection is in order for those of us who are still in the church. Since I am a pastor, revolutionary critiques of the modern church invite me to carefully evaluate my own ministry context. They invite me to ask the questions that must be asked by a shepherd of God's people and a champion of God's mission in the world. As a church, are we living out the biblical vision for worship, community, and mission? And where we are not, are we making our best attempt at moving toward that biblical vision? If not, in some ways it becomes difficult to argue against the revolutionary critique.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.